Welcome to Hot Garbage.
Hello and welcome to Hot Garbage, where we are the only trash talk that matters. I'm your host, Laura, and me and Stephanie are doing this thing where we keep trading on and off weeks where we're our sick days. And
Fun
so it's
fact,
going
they
to be a
actually
month.
hate each other.
Yeah, and so it's going to be a month until I see her again. We're just switching on and off weeks, and then we have our workhorse Tyler, who's just our backbone and can't leave.
I have no choice.
He's stuck here. Yeah, so it's just me and Tyler. It was Tyler and Stephanie, and Tyler's just the constant. Here we are.
We're sober this time, so it won't be a 3-hour
We're sober,
episode.
and we're gonna stay sober because that wasn't what we're ever gonna do again.
It was fun though.
We might do a drunk cast one time again, but we're never gonna do it in the same capacity that we did it this time.
Yeah.
That was not what I would say was a good first impression. That's really
fun,
not
though.
leading
I
with your
enjoyed
best foot forward.
Look, there's like, what, 50-something other episodes they can listen to?
Right. Go listen to the Vanilla Coke incident. That was fun.
That was a good episode.
That was a good one. Yeah, so talking about motherfucking share time, let's get into it. For 2 weeks I feel like I haven't done anything, and I was struggling about what I was gonna talk about. And so I've decided I'm gonna tell you guys a little fun story about what happened. And it's gonna be small because we're not fucking hanging out in share time for 45 fucking minutes this time.
You say that. We can never make that promise.
I'm trying. So I was trying to find something to watch the other day. As of right now, I'm watching Seventh Heaven.
How's that going?
It's going great. I love Seventh Heaven, actually. I've watched Seventh Heaven a couple times. This is like, I just like sometimes just circle around to Seventh Heaven. Not religious in any way. Super religious show. It's about like literally like a fucking reverend. And I'm not religious at all, but for some reason, love Seventh Heaven. Anyway, so watch Seventh Heaven, but that's not what it's about. But before this, I was trying to find something to watch, right? So I'm like going through all the streaming things, and I'm on Amazon Prime, and there's it says Scream Queens. I was like, Scream Queens. I was like, awesome. And I was thinking about the show with Emma Roberts and Jamie Lee Curtis and Glenn Powell, and Carrie Fisher's daughter is in it. So I was thinking it was that show. And so the like thumbnail thing, it was like a chick silhouette, like just black like silhouette. And then it was a bloody knife with Scream Queens written across it. So I was like, oh my God, it's Scream Queens. It's this show. And I've never seen it. I saw the first episode, but like when it was on, it like wasn't hitting for me. But like I always wanted to watch it. So I was like, oh my God, I'll go watch this. Like, sounds great. I click on it. And I think that Amazon's just weird, right? With like their thumbnail. And they just, for some reason, don't have Emma Roberts. I don't know. So I click on it and it starts playing, and I go through the ad, and then it's playing. And it is a montage of these girls just screaming and like running through a house. And I was like, what? And it clearly like didn't look like a 2016 show, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know when it came out, but I knew it was like the 2010s. And so this didn't feel right, right? So I was like, what is happening? And so as it's like going, it's like explaining things. And it's like this montage of like these girls like acting and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm definitely not watching what I think I'm watching. And so like the host comes out, and I was like, oh my God, that's the chick from Saw. Like she's in like 4 of the Saw movies. It's like, that's the chick from Saw. So I was like, what the fuck am I watching? and so it turns out it's this reality show that was on VH1 called Scream Queens. And it had 2 seasons. I watched both because at that point, why would I not? It's a reality competition show. And basically they compete for a chance to have a role on a Saw movie. And I was like, "Okay, great." Like, that sounds like fun. It wasn't great. It wasn't fantastic of a show. It wasn't that good. It was fun, though. It was fun. The runner-up of the 2nd season, I don't know what her name is. Her name is Jessica, but she is actually in the spin-off show for Grey's Anatomy, and she's,
Okay.
like, the main cast member on it. Like, she's, like, the main girl. And I'm like, "Oh my god, I've seen her on Grey's Anatomy." I was like, "Look at that." Turns out she's, like, the only one that was ever in anything.
Oh.
Out of 2 seasons, she was the only one that's in anything besides the 2 in Saw movies. So, yeah, but it was not good. It was fun. I will say it was fun. I think because the 2nd season was hosted by Jamie King. She was in My Bloody Valentine, I'm pretty sure, the remake. I'm pretty sure that's the movie it was. Could be
I
wrong.
haven't
It's
seen
like
it.
anyway, if you saw her, you would know her.
Okay.
I love her though. She's like an actress that's been in a bunch of stuff. I love her. So I had seen like part of an episode of this show back when it was airing because Jamie King was on it. And I remember the girl taking like the raw meat in the scene and taking a bite of it. And I was like, I've definitely seen this because that was the memory that I had. Because how could you forget?
Yeah,
And then I like
that's something
turned it
that sticks
off.
with you.
Yeah. And then I had turned it off because who's going to keep it on after that? And also it was like about horror. And like, again, it wasn't that good. And none of these women amounted to anything. So,
Yeah, no point.
right. So I kind of just like left. But watching it now, it was fun. It was fun. Um, so that's what I did. That
Nice.
motherfucking share time was short.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
I
You
know.
kept it to
Fuck,
minutes.
fuck yeah. Fuck
I don't know
yeah.
if you ever actually said like what the show was, but
It's called Scream Queens.
no, I don't think you have like said like what the show like was about. You just kind of talked about people
Oh.
who were in it.
Oh, okay. So the show is technically about fair. The show is technically about it's like a competition show where the girls compete and like each week a girl goes home and they have like a scene that they do and then they can get like immunity for the whole week and then they do another scene and then they're judged on it. And then somebody gets leading lady who's like the best one of the week and then somebody else goes home and they get axed and then their picture literally gets an axe in it and blood comes down. It's really cool. It's like
So
my
it's
favorite part.
Survivor with a horror theme.
Yeah, basically. And so then they keep like the 3 judges and like a little bit of like America's Next Top Model. And so they just like take the girls off week by week and then it gets down to like the final 2 and then they pick and that girl gets like a role in the Saw movie. I actually never saw the 2 Saw movies that they were in.
Mhm.
The one was in 6 and then I guess the other one was going to be in 7 because it was like concurrent with each other. So I guess they would be in 6 and 7.
Makes sense.
If that's what they were called because I know that there's one called Jigsaw. I don't know where that one falls.
Yeah, couldn't
Yeah.
tell you.
I've only seen like a couple of the Saw movies and like bits and pieces here and there. I've seen the second Saw movie a decent amount of times because Donnie Wahlberg's in it.
You and your
The
Wahlberg
first one,
obsession.
let's talk about this. Okay, this is a funny story. So the first Saw movie I saw when I was a kid, like when it had first come out, or like when the second one had just first come out, like it was like new.
Mhm.
And I was a kid and I watched the first one and I had nightmares weeks. Had to sleep with the lights on for weeks. Because it made me feel better. Um, so I never wanted to watch any of the other Saw movies. I actually left a sleepover when I was a kid because they were going to watch the second Saw movie and I was like that adamant about not watching it. And like they tried to make fun of me the next day at school and somebody was like, so she stood up for what she didn't want to do and left. Good for her.
All right.
Like I still remember it. But anyway, years later I'm an adult, right? and Saw 2 comes on Sci-Fi or some shit, whatever it was. And I was like, you know what? As an adult, I'm gonna do this. And it has Donnie Wahlberg in it. He's my comfort. I'm gonna be fine. And so I watched it and I was fine. It was a good one. I was like, oh, I was entertained. I was like, this was fun. So I watched the whole thing. Great. Because I did that, I said, let me watch like the Saw franchise, right? This is when it was still going on. And I was like, let me actually like watch it. I can do it. I'm an adult.
Proud of you.
Thank you. So I go watch that first one again. Cried. As a fucking like 20-year-old adult, I fucking cried because at that first movie, there is something wrong with that first Saw movie. I don't know how they got the movie made. I don't know what deals with the demon that they had to make, but that movie, there's something unholy about that first Saw movie. I cried as a 20-year-old adult. I'm telling you that I watched like the second one and I was fine. You've heard all the horror movies I'm fine with. You know what I mean? Cried. Like I put it like it might be scarier than The Descent because for some reason The Descent also scares the shit out of me. We've been there on that conversation.
Few times, yeah.
Yeah, and I would say that the first Saw movie scares me more than The Descent. Like
Alright,
there is something unholy about that movie. And so I cry after watching it. and proceed to hard eject out of the entire fucking thing again. I'm like, I'm not watching it. So for a long time, I had watched the second one like 3 or 4 times because I knew that the second one didn't scare me. So it was like a marathon. So I watched the second one because of course I'm fine with the second one. And so I then watched some of the third one. I don't know if I watched the whole third one because I feel like I didn't see the end of it. I feel like I hard ejected out of it because I was too afraid to get to the end. That feels like something I do. And like I've seen like bits and pieces of like I think like 4 or 5. I saw the end of one of those because I watched the guy get pushed into a box. That's
Okay.
all I remember about it, and it was the guy from Gilmore Girls. And I'm sure that somebody would know if we were bigger and would write in the comment and tell us which one it was.
Please do. Please tell us which person from Gilmore Girls it was.
Oh, I know who it was from Gilmore Girls. It was Scott Patterson, who's Luke. Like I know who it was.
Oh,
I don't know what his name was because I only caught the end of it.
okay.
But I watched the box thing.
Gotcha. Well, that's fun.
Yeah. And so so the first movie, I don't know what's wrong with that first movie of Saw. Like that Saw original, there's something unholy about it. Like I don't know what it is. Like when you watch it, there's really nothing that scary about it. Like I have to take a deep breath right now and that like kind of freaked out.
I think the only thing that I know about the Saw movie is like apparently it takes place like the day before 9/11.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, like I've seen like screenshots of like somebody's like cell phone and it says like 9/10 2001.
Oh
It's
shit.
like I have bad news, but tomorrow's not going to be any better.
Like you're about to escape, but it's not going to be great. Oh gosh.
That's my knowledge of the Saw franchise.
Oh my god, that's insane. I did not know that. That's insane.
If I come
That's a
across
fun fact.
the meme, I'll send it to you. But
Okay. That's insane. That's funny. Yeah, so yeah, if you guys can tell me what demons helped make that first one, that'd be great.
Hollywood.
Like I mean when like you look at it, it took them a while to get like the film actually like produced. And they had made a short film about it and stuff like that. And like they were shopping that around, I think, if I remember correctly. I only read it like once and it was like a couple days ago. Like when this was happening, or like a couple weeks ago, whenever this was happening. I think it was like a week ago when this was happening. But yeah, I like have a feeling that like to actually get like the funding for it, that they made like a deal with like a crossroads demon, like in Jennifer's body when they had to like sacrifice that girl.
Good movie.
Jennifer, I mean, not Jennifer, who is Megan Fox, when they had to sacrifice her. and so, it's feeling like that's what happened to get the movie funded, and that's why it makes me feel wrong because it's unholy.
Now I'm gonna just have to watch this. I don't want
There's
to, but you're gonna
nothing,
make me watch it.
Tyler, I'm telling you right now, when you're watching it, you're gonna crack up because there's nothing that actually should scare me as much as it does. But I think that's the reason why I have issues with people in masks. Like you know how I have issues with like mascots and like people in masks and like Halloween in general and things like that. I think it's because of the pig masks in fucking Saw, and it traumatized me.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, and I really think that's what did it. And I'm so serious, when you watch it, you're gonna crack up because there's nothing that should make me that scared. That would make me cry as a grown adult.
Can't wait to watch it now.
Yeah. You're gonna come back next week and your motherfucking share time is gonna be like, are you fucking kidding me?
My
You're
fucking
gonna
share
crack
time
up.
is what is wrong with Laura?
Yeah. I don't know. What's wrong with that movie?
It's just gonna be a therapy session for you.
Yeah, just so you know that when you do watch it, the guy who plays Adam, he is the producer of it.
Oh.
I couldn't think of it.
Cool. Producer. That's what they do all day. Just they turn into C-3PO. Oh dear.
Let me think about it. All right, so now that my motherfucking share time went on longer than it needed to, Tyler, what's your motherfucking share time?
I was just about to say sorry for extending that for another 15 minutes.
It's fine. It was fun.
I'll keep mine short because it's something that I've been meaning to say for like 3 weeks, but I keep forgetting about it. But we've hit 1,000 downloads in less than a year. So I don't
That's
know if that's good or not,
awesome.
but I'm gonna take pride in it. So
I'm gonna take pride in that. I'm gonna take pride. I don't know if that's a good thing, but it's been like less than a year, and that feels like a good thing.
I think
We
like
get
one
like
of the next couple episodes is gonna be our year mark.
Yeah, and we get like a decent amount of people on some of our episodes.
Yeah.
And there's some people that show up.
10 random ones yesterday. So
Yeah, we don't know who you were, but you were going on a plane.
You're the goat.
You were going on a plane. Yeah, no, there's some people that like show up like as soon as we post it.
Yeah.
You've seen them. Like the day or like the next day, like they show up. You've seen them.
Yeah. June 8th is going to be our year anniversary. So
look at that.
Yeah. So I guess technically not next week, but the week after would be a year. Right? I don't know what day it is.
Technically next Saturday.
Oh, so yeah, the next episode then. Oh, no.
No, the week after, technically.
Yeah, okay. So yeah.
So technically the 10th.
Cool. So we're 2 episodes away from a year. Love that.
Cool.
Doesn't even feel like it's been a year, honestly.
All right, let's get into Vanderpump. I just fucking watched it. I hate this season. I really do. I hate everything about it.
I mean, same, but this was probably like the best episode of the season, and that's saying something.
Yeah. This was definitely the best. It started out with Lala being upset with Katie because she was venting to her friend and didn't want to say it on camera, and Lala for some reason had a problem with that.
Yeah. Stupid. Like it's not even anything big.
Yeah.
But like there's no reason to blow it up just because the cameras are going. Like
yeah. Like I really don't I can't tell you how many times I am sure my friends have vented about me because I'm a lot.
Yeah, like it's fine.
I don't care. Like I literally do not care. Like it does not hurt my feelings.
Yeah, you just need to like let it out sometimes. It's not that
Yeah.
big of a fucking deal.
And it's like I'm not going to get in a fight with my friend over it.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. I'm going to get over it. I don't care.
Exactly.
That's basically what Katie said. Like, so then, the greatest part was that, Andy asked Katie if she had sex with Max again. They were talking about Max and her hooking up with Max.
Yep.
And she was like, I don't know, I don't remember. And Schwartz was like, oh my God. It was great. It was awesome. Good for Katie. So Andy asked Katie, like, oh, why is it okay that you did it and he had done that, but it's fine that you did it or whatever? And I was sitting there and I was like, because he did it first?
Yeah.
Well, why was it
And
okay? Because he did it first?
and Max wasn't a cast member. Like,
Also, Tom Schwartz and Max are best friends.
I mean, I guess, but he's not like Sandoval level of best friend apparently. So
Yeah. But like shit happens. Like, oh well.
yeah. And
Oh well.
also, he did it first. So
Again, you did it first. If you're gonna be mad at anybody, be mad at your friend for having sex with your ex-girlfriend. I mean,
yeah,
your ex-wife.
yeah.
Like, be like, why would you have sex with my ex-wife?
And then him being like, "Oh, like a part of me like thinks I manifested this, so like I could
Yeah, what
show
was
her like
that?
how I'd react to it." I'm like, "You're just doing a spin zone right now, man. Like, you were
It was
so
so
fucking
stupid.
mad about it."
I know. It was so stupid.
Yep.
So then I want to get to the part where Andy brings up to Lala the Randall stuff. Because Andy said what we've all been saying, which is like, you did the same thing with Randall.
Mm-hmm.
And she tries to explain all these reasons why it's different. And none of them matter.
Yep. Because Lala's the main character in her eyes. That's all that it is.
Like, for real. So she had said something like, oh, well, like, I'm confused by boundaries because you live down the hall from him. And that really pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because what Lala's not understanding is that she can't just pick up and leave. Like, she owns this home. She can't just get up and walk out. Like, they own the home together. She's paying a mortgage on the home together. Even if she went and got an apartment, she's still paying for a mortgage on the home. And who's to say, until she had Dancing with the Stars and all this other money come through, that she had the money to do that?
Yeah.
So, I just want to make that very, 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 very clear. Now, it's really pissing me off because Lala is acting like holier than thou and like all this shit. And I just need to say the one thing that I have been protecting her from this entire time, because I love Lala. I've been following Lala for a very long time. I've been following her since she started on the show. And we
Yeah.
need to talk about the conversation on how she met Randall, because that's a conversation we've not had. We've talked about her being a mistress, not, and like all that other kind of stuff. But what we've never talked about is how she actually met Randall. And I've been protecting it and I've not been saying it, but like Randall was a producer on this movie called The Row. He goes into Sir, sees that she's hosting, has his assistant go over and say that he wants to cast her in a movie. She then goes on auditions with the man. They go on a date. She lets him they have sex that night. Then they go and film the movie together.
Mm-hmm.
She fucked the producer to get a role in this movie. That's what happened. Whether he was separated from the wife, whether she was a mistress, whether any of that is correct or not, she fucked a producer to get a movie role. That fucking happened. The whole casting couch thing that she talks about and whatever, she was a part of. What do you think that was? Just because you weren't in his office, do you not think that you were part of the casting couch? Do you not think that's exactly what he did to you? Oh, just because he wined and dined you and bought you a Range Rover? And so I have fucking proof that this is what she said, because I'm not fucking around with this bitch anymore. I'm done with it. I fucking went out and I got those fucking screenshots. I ain't even, like, if you want to be a real bitch, like, we can be real. You know what I mean? Like, she wants to sit here and talk about being real, and you're living in the house with your ex-boyfriend. Well, you could luckily pick up and move because you moved into your producer's house because you fucked him.
Yeah.
Okay? So here's the movie. Get rid of the ESPN thing. Here's the movie. Here's the movie, The Row. Just to prove it. He came in for a Christmas dinner and sent his assistant to me and asked me if he could get my manager's contact info because he wanted me to do this film, Kent told Bravo's The Daily Dish in 2018. And so then we started this whole process. I booked the film and then we just had this instant connection and I just It was my first season of Vanderpump Rules. I think only like 3 episodes had aired of season 4. I was like, okay, I'm gonna let my guard down. Whatever's happening, I like it, you know. He made me laugh. Give it a try. Blah blah fucking blah. Moving on. This is another article from ET Online. He actually came into SIR one night while I was hostessing. He was having his holiday party there, and he sent his assistant up to ask for my manager's number because he was casting for a film called The Row. That movie came out this past summer starring Lala. I went in for multiple auditions, and each time he was a jokester, she continues. I was like, he's cute. Like the way I've never dated anyone like him, and like whatever he's about, I'm feeling it. I'm not going to fight it. About 3 months later, Lala says that she and Randall met up in New York City and went on their first official date. I let him hit it the first night, and the rest is just history. So I would like to say that he was casting for a film. Her own words. He was casting for The Row. He said, I'm going to cast you. She met him. They started dating. She fucked him. They went and filmed the movie, and then they've been dating. I remember on her Instagram when he wasn't on the show, but they had like been out in a relationship, and they were at the premiere, and they were together, and they were in photos, and I remember all that fucking shit. Okay, so I would like to just throw that the fuck out there. Because, like, if you want to be fucking real, let's talk about why you could pick up and leave the home that you were at, the beautiful home that you were at, for you and your child that you set up because you fucked the producer to get this movie. And then you ended up falling in love with him because you had a kid with him. I've never denied that. I've never once denied that she didn't love Randall. I've never done that. I'm not doing that now.
I'm
So
pretty
let's
sure
make
we
that
pointed
clear.
that out specifically. Like, she did love him. It's just
Yes.
everything behind it was shady as fuck.
Yes.
Like,
yes. And that's the thing. And so you were able to leave that home because that's how you got that home. Ariana worked her ass off to get the home that she bought with Sandoval, and then he wrecked the entire thing. It's unfortunate that she had to live down the hall from him for so long because he drug his feet like a fucking asshole. If we really want to say the truth of the situation, Lala. Okay? So I've been protecting you, and I've not said that shit on here, but since you want to fucking come for Katie and fucking Ariana, I'll fucking say it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Like, I'm done protecting her. I'm done not saying it. I'm done being nice about it.
yeah. Lala
Like,
really feels like a fucking production plant. Like, even now, up to the fucking reunion, like the whole time, like
just the way
Ariana's
that she
saying,
was
like, okay,
talking
you
to
don't,
people.
yeah, like Ariana's saying, like, you don't need to understand it, just respect it. And she's like, but
Yeah.
I just don't understand. She's like, you don't need to understand it. Like, it doesn't fucking matter to you. So, like, I don't know what the fuck her deal is, but
I don't know what is a problem.
she's given plant. That's all I know.
Yeah. And like I'm not saying like the hate that she's been getting online is ridiculous. Okay?
Yeah.
Like I just said all that mean shit, but I'm not sitting here like I fucking hate her and I hope she like fucking like go kills herself. Like you people are mean. You
Yeah.
people are awful. Like it's a reality
That's
television show at the end of the day. It's just that she wants to be real and talk about, you know, Katie not saying anything about Ariana and that people aren't being living themselves and we can't respect boundaries and we're still living in the house with a guy. And it's like, okay, well, let's talk about why you could leave. How about that? How about we bring up the fact why you could leave? So, Lala, you really need to like stop. Like, you really need to stop because you have a lot of skeletons in your closet.
Yeah.
And
really
I
hope
love
this is the
you.
end.
What?
I said I really hope this is the end of, like, the
It needs
show.
to be.
Like,
It needs to be. The anger that I'm exuding is not okay. Like, I
yeah.
understand.
Like, throw Lala and Sheena into the valley. Why not? Like, they obviously want to keep it going, but like, just I'm done. Ariana looked so fucking checked out during the whole
Oh,
thing.
she's
Like,
done. I mean, Katie's pretty checked out. I mean, let's be for real. James looked pretty checked out in this entire thing. He didn't say anything until the very end.
yeah.
He's done.
Yeah.
He's like, why am I hanging out with these people? Yeah. So Ariana also said, you're louder than everybody else, so you're right. And I wrote that down because that's really how Lala acts. Just
Yep.
because she can talk louder and talk over people and tell people to be quiet, she thinks that she's right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really annoying.
Yeah, it really
Like, I'm
is.
very annoyed by her. And, like, I don't want to unfollow her because I know I love her deep down.
You just want a break from her.
Right.
Just mute her for a little bit.
Right. It's like, I love you deep down. Like, deep down, I know I'm going to love you. Like, deep down, a couple months go by, I'm going to love you again. It's going to be fine. But right now, you're acting so fucking ridiculous, girl. You need to stop.
Too much of her and too much of her just being weird. Like, just go away for a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Have your baby privately in peace, away from everything, and then come back.
But she wants it to be a part of it. She wants it to be a part of the show. Like, she fucking said that pretty much.
I would never. Can I explain? Let's talk about births on reality television because they happen on like all those fucking TLC shows. I would never exploit my birth and my baby to make money on a reality television show. I would never do
Oh,
it.
I would.
Yeah. I would never physically put myself having birth on television so I get money.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that there's a line and there should be.
Yeah, there definitely should be. And that's right about where it is.
Yeah.
If not
And
a
after
little
we
bit before.
watched,
But
yeah. And after we watched that Shiny Happy People documentary a year ago at this point,
yeah.
the girls are saying that they didn't even want to do it. It's basically like that they were like forced to because of contracts and their parents.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Joe and Allie show up. And I love Katie saying that she felt bad for Joe because what Schwartz did to Joe, we said it too. We felt bad for Joe.
Yeah.
What Schwartz did to Joe was pretty fucked up this season, and we all watched it.
Yeah.
And he does not understand what he did.
Yep.
He doesn't get it. Like, he truly does not get what he did. He's like, we were very transparent that we weren't in a relationship. And I was like, and then on the other hand, you're going, I love you and having sex with her frequently. But I said we weren't in a relationship, Schwartz. Schwartz.
Listen. Someone even said, like, stop fucking gaslighting her, like, even right
It was
now.
Lala. All the girls, every girl jumped in, even fucking Lisa. Like, dude. Because he wasn't getting it.
Nope.
Like, he just doesn't get it.
He's just an idiot.
Oh my god. It was like,
We've
oh
known
my
that.
god. So he really like downplayed their entire relationship and gaslit her. And she's sitting there like, we did have a relationship. And he's like, not really. And she's like, oh my god. And James is in the corner. James is in the corner going, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good.
God, what a shit show,
Oh my
man.
god, it was horrible. And then he's like, "Oh, tell us about your new girlfriend." And he's like, "Yeah, here she is." And she's like 22. I don't even know how old she actually is, but she looks 22. And then he's
Yeah.
like, "This is kind of disrespectful to Joe." And I was like, "Oh, now you care?" Oh, now.
Yeah. Like, she's weird. Like, there's no
She's weird.
denying that. But, like, you do feel bad for her watching the season, stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
some of the stuff, like, it's kind of like, yeah, you're kind of bringing that upon yourself, like trying to
Like, Katie's allowed to be
get a
mean to her.
yeah, like trying to get a fucking apology from her for whatever fucking reason. Like,
Yeah.
that was dumb. But
Yeah.
obviously Katie's like, watching this back, like, I feel bad for what you're going through, and like, I'm sorry I treated you that way, but
Yeah.
also don't be an idiot.
And she was like, and she like didn't take the apology for what it was. And you had Lala going like, no, that was actually really good for Katie. And Schwartz is going like, no, that was an apology for her.
It's about as good as you're gonna get.
And it was like, yeah. And they're like, Katie, are you mean? And she's like, yeah. Like, I relate to you so much, Katie.
And Joe was just
I'm
like
not
freaking out
nice.
the whole time. Like as soon as Katie was like, "Yeah, I felt kind of bad for her," she was like, "Wait, Katie
Katie
felt
felt
bad
bad
for
for me.
me?" Like,
And she's like
calm
looking at her as
down.
she's still like talking.
Like,
She's
calm
like,
down.
yeah, like while we were on the show, like I didn't really see it, but like I was watching it and like he was like breadcrumbing you. Like it
Yeah.
was and she said something to him on the show about it too.
Mhm.
Like she stood up for her the whole time.
Yeah. You can
Like she
not
was
like
telling
somebody and
Schwartz.
still, like, feel bad for them and not want
Yeah.
them to go through bullshit like that, but
Yeah, and she was telling Schwartz, like, you're a fucking asshole.
yeah.
He just didn't want to listen. Yeah, so also like Katie's allowed to be Katie's allowed to be mean to Joe, okay?
Mhm.
I'm gonna be so for real. And Joe said that Katie was the only one who was mean to her. And rightfully so, okay? None of the other girls hate you. There is no reason to hate you. However, Katie just got divorced from this man. You are now the rebound. You are
Mm.
going to get hate from her. I'm sorry about it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, you should know better.
Like, it's just
Sorry, but
all women do it. And if you want to deny it and say, well, I'm a girl's girl, okay, I'm a girl's girl too. And I can't deny the fact that I haven't stalked a girlfriend of an ex boyfriend to be like, oh, I'm still prettier than her. And you've done it too. You've been there. You need it. It's an ego boost for yourself. You know it's not the greatest thing that you've ever done in your life. You feel kind of bad about it
yeah.
after the fact. Okay. But you needed to do it. Okay. And then you leave it alone and you're not mean to her
Mhm.
again. And is Katie mean to her again? No, she just ignores her existence.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Katie did a normal human thing as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry that it was on national television and that it was broadcasted and people can't have enough self-awareness to go, I did the same thing once in my life.
Yeah, like, it makes it look worse when it's, like, the focus of that part of the show or whatever, but
Yeah,
everybody does it.
everybody does it. Everybody does it.
Mhm.
And she got over it and she's not mean anymore because you get over it
Yeah.
and you're not mean anymore.
Not actually mean, she's just Katie
Yeah.
mean, which is just
Yeah.
who she is.
But if Katie really had like animosity toward her and it had something to do with Joe and not her feelings on the whole, everything, she wouldn't have stood up for Joe the way she did to Schwartz. She wouldn't have stood up for Joe the way she did on the reunion. She's still a girl's
Exactly.
girl. You know what I mean? Like you're still a girl's girl about it. It's just I'm really mad at the situation and you're getting the anger. You might not
Yeah.
deserve it, but you're getting it.
Yeah.
It happens. We're all human.
Yep.
Yeah. The only time I have a problem is when people like deny shit, you know? Like I have a problem with Joe because all Joe had to say this season was instead of saying, "Oh, I didn't look at them when I was on double dates with Schwartz and Tom Sandoval and Rachel," instead
Mhm.
of saying, "Oh, I was looking at Schwartz. I thought that they were broken up," and whatever other excuse she fucking gave us in the book. All she had to say was, "My boyfriend." He might deny it, but my boyfriend. Who I am good who is like my best friend, like they are friends, right?
Yeah.
He asked me not to say anything because he's gonna break up with Ariana, and Tom asked his best friend not to say anything. So I'm not saying anything. So I
Yeah.
didn't. Forgiven. I can't say that if Keenan said, I need you to keep the secret for me, you can't tell her. I wouldn't do it. Keenan's my best friend and I love him. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I do it for him? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't I do that for him? Like just because he's a guy and she's a girl doesn't mean shit to me a little bit because I'm loyal to him.
Yeah. No.
I've been with the guy for like 5.5 years. Like I'm loyal to him. I'm sorry about it, you know? But that doesn't mean that I don't feel like a shitty person. I'm not looking her in the eye. I'm not in the same room as her. I'm not like hanging out
Yeah.
with her. I probably can't talk to her again. And
It's like
after the fact,
y'all aren't friends.
right,
So,
right. And I'm making it that way on purpose because I can't be your friend. I
yeah.
can't. Because if I'm your friend, that means I have to tell you,
Yeah.
right? So I get why she did all of this, right? She's just not being honest about it. Because at the end
Mhm.
of the day, after I did that, I would be like, I'm an asshole. I'm so sorry. You can call me an asshole. I did such an asshole thing. I know. I had all this information and I kept it and I didn't tell you I'm an asshole. I get it. Like you can hate me.
Yeah. And it's how, like, back to back those excuses were.
Yeah.
Like, in, like, a very much, like, I got caught in a lie kinda thing. Because she's like, "Oh, well,
So
I didn't see them," and then they're like, "Well, I mean, y'all were both at the same party together, whatever," and they're like, "Oh, well,
yeah,
I thought they would broken up already." It's like,
yeah. So Tom Schwartz just came out. I don't know if you saw this. I figured that Stephanie would have. He came out and he did a podcast and he had said something like why they had broken up. He went on, I think it was Britney's podcast. I'm pretty sure it was Britney's. Pretty sure it was Britney. And he was saying his side of the story. And he had basically said that she's like kind of a pathological liar. And I was like, well, after what we saw, I can't say that you're wrong. I don't want to believe the guy, but after what you
yeah,
showed us, it's not like I can't believe him, you know?
yeah,
And so he also said something about like his sister went on like a trip with her, like spent 2 days with her and like had to block her. And it was like the worst experience of her life. I don't know how true any of that is,
yeah.
but man, she is a lot.
I was gonna say Schwartz calling somebody a pathological liar. I'm like, pot meat kettle.
You kept that secret that you made out with Sheena for how long?
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. We get over to James and Allie, which I wish we got to sooner because I love Allie.
Yeah.
Basically, the funniest thing that happened was the James and Allie stuff. Because James, they asked James if he compromises in the relationship, and he's like, "Yeah, I compromise." And they start talking about if he's compromised, and they start talking about compromise. And he's like, "What examples of compromise do you want?" And he starts giving examples that aren't compromises, thinking that they're compromises. And she's like, "Well, he does," and like she's trying to help, and he just keeps going, and he's just
Digging
getting
that hole.
madder. He's just mad now, right? Like he's like, "I compromise," and he starts yelling at Andy basically, and Andy's like, "This guy's ready to fight me." And Andy basically says, "Okay, you compromised, all right? I'm not trying to get in a fight with you about it."
I'm sorry I asked.
Like he was like getting mad at Andy about it, and Andy's like, "Dude, he's gonna fight me." He was literally ready to fight Andy by the end of the conversation. It was hilarious. I also love that he explained that, oh, it wasn't an ultimatum. Like she left and I said I'm not drinking anymore. Like that wasn't an ultimatum. She broke up with me and she left. Like there was no stop drinking or I'm leaving. Like she said, okay, I'm gone. And I said I'm not going to drink. And I was like, I think that's a really good way to explain it because she really didn't give an ultimatum. She really did just leave.
Mhm.
She's like, I don't like you when you drink, so I'm not going to be with you. And he said, I'm done drinking if that's what it is. That's not really an ultimatum. That's his own
No,
choice.
yeah.
He could have
That's her saying, "I'm done,"
continued.
and yeah.
He could have continued to drink and not been with her.
Mhm.
He said no.
Yeah. She's more important, so.
Right.
And
And
she's
so
the
I
best part of
love
the show, so.
she is, and we love that you gave her to us. So I really love that he explained it like that. I think that was like a really great way to explain it because that's what happened. And Andy goes, "Would you be with him if you ever drank again?" She goes, "Nope." She's like, "I'm leaving." Like she didn't even like.
I think she, like, pretends to think about it. She's like, "Well, no."
No. Like trying to be nice about it, but like nah. But the absolute best part of the entire episode was truly the very end going into the next episode when they were talking about Maya and Maya being Ariana's because she had signed the papers and paid for her, and Tom Sandoval rolls his eyes. And James goes, "Oh, don't you roll your eyes, motherfucker." He goes, "You were fine when she took Graham away from me and you were out there being his little secret daddy." And the thing I love about Sober James is he knows where to direct his anger. He's still a
Mhm.
master with words. He still says the things that we expect him to say. He's just sober saying them and he directs them at the people that deserve it.
He's not swinging wildly anymore, like, he's
Right.
giving direct punches.
Right. And so he was like, and Sandoval's like, what? And he's like, no, I wouldn't have even said anything. But then you got to sit over there and roll your eyes at what she's saying when everything she's saying is 100% fucking true. And I was like, how come James is over here madder than everybody else for Ariana? And it all is because of the dog.
That's why James is the best.
He's number one guy in the group. Nobody ever. It's going to be a long time before somebody takes this man's crown. It's going to be when this man drinks. If this man ever drinks again, that's when the crown will be taken from him. And I hope to God he never drinks again because he's so better. He's better off without it.
Mm-hmm. He's funnier. He's nicer. Well,
he's nicer to the people who deserve it.
Yeah,
him and Katie are besties.
Yeah,
think about that. Him and Katie are besties. Who would have thought from summer bodies we would have gotten here?
Asking her if she's pregnant to just being besties.
And he stands up for her.
Yep.
He stands up for her all the time. He stands up for Ariana all the time. Ariana's always been nice to him, but he stands up for these people all the time. He's like, you need a guy to stand up for you. I'm here. I'm your backbone. I'm your designated guy that has to say things sometimes.
Even while like kind of trying to give Sandoval like a second chance, like he's still just like ride or die. Like he wasn't like Sheena,
still
who was,
like, you don't get
so conflicted. But
yeah, it was like yeah, when he was like yelling at him, he's like, this whole place is a joke. This is a joke. You're a joke. Like that was because he's like, you don't get what you did to her. Like,
yeah.
Like that's what pissed him off. He's like, you don't get it.
Mm-hmm. And then of course we end with Sandoval trying to deflect and being like, I've heard shit about you. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, and he's like, oh fuck you. He's like,
you haven't heard shit.
He's like, you shut the fuck up. He's like, man, I love him. He's like, oh, I'm gonna like, I can't wait for like the last like the next part where like they're gonna watch like the end of it or whatever. Like we haven't shown it, like we're all gonna watch it together. Cause they're not showing what he's saying in the corner.
Yep.
It's probably too inappropriate for the previews.
Yeah.
He's sitting in the corner like, you motherfucker.
For the first time this year, I'm actually excited for next week's episode of Vanderpump.
I know, right? And it's all because of James. No, I'm kidding.
Yep.
I'm kidding. All right. So I didn't watch the fucking Valley because the fucking Valley's stupid. I didn't watch last week either. Jax makes me mad. Janet makes me mad, and I don't want to be mean to a pregnant lady. Like she's pregnant, guys. Like I understand how she's acting, but at the end of the day, she is pregnant.
All right. So you haven't missed much. Only thing that really matters from last week was Jesse, like immediately after like going to like his little like therapy retreat thing where he did ayahuasca or whatever it was. Like at the very beginning of the episode, he's like, yeah, like I'm a changed person, stuff like that. He's talking to what's her name?
You will be a changed person when you die because then you're dead. Otherwise, you're going to be the same person that you're always going to be, Jesse. Jesse, you're an asshole as a personality trait, and there is no getting around that.
Yeah. So like that episode started off with him and Michelle talking. And he's like, yeah, like, I feel like completely different and stuff like that. And then they all go to, I think it's like Big Bear or something like that for she called it a baby moon.
Like they all went on like the baby vacation with them.
Yeah. And immediately Jesse gets drunk and starts trying to fight people.
There was
like playfully. But
this is what I mean, Jesse. The only way you're going to change is when you're dead. You're going to be 70 years old having bar fights.
So yeah, it was the big thing that happened. Brittany was like car sick going up there and coming back, and Jax is like, oh, you got drunk, blah blah blah, and so he's mad at her because of that, even though she's not drunk. She's just car sick and has fucking stomach issues. And then
Yeah, she does have a stomach problem. She always has.
yeah. And then at the very end, it ended with a cliffhanger of Jax and Michelle talking. And Jax is like, was it Kristen told me that you've been like texting like famous people and stuff like that and sending like sexy pictures of yourself or something like that. And it ends with Michelle saying
Sure.
like, well, it's true. And that's how it
Oh, it
ends.
is?
That's how it ends.
Oh,
And then
okay.
we come back to that and it's that same conversation going and Michelle's like, Jesse knows like I text a lot of other like men, like famous people, politicians and stuff like that because it's my job. Like I'm a fucking realtor. Like I have to be like talking to
Yeah.
people like constantly. And so she's like, the only thing that isn't true is like I'm not sending pictures to anybody. And so Jack's like, okay, and just kind of drops it or whatever. And they go back inside and stuff.
Sure. So, like, he just, oh,
Yeah, he's
okay. And then just leaves it. Like, ugh, he's just
yeah.
ninja. He's like a fucking
And then
ninja.
Michelle immediately goes upstairs and finds Jesse, who for just being drunk like not even 30 minutes ago was just like completely fine, like all like dressed to the nines, like ready to go out on the town and stuff like that. And so she's like, you're not gonna believe what just happened. And he's like, what? And she's like, well, uh, Jack started saying this or whatever. Jesse just immediately goes, Jax, get up here. He's like, I'm not doing this fucking telephone game. Like, I want to know like what happened. Like Michelle's like, just let me tell you like what he said. He's like, no, get him up here and we're just gonna talk about this right here. Like, I don't want to do this telephone game anymore. And so he calls Jax up there and he says what Kristen told him. He says what Michelle had told him. And then he's like, yeah, like she texts people. That's her fucking job. Like that's it's no big deal. Like I know about this. And then it cuts to his like confessional and stuff like that. And he's just like, if there's like a group of like 5 men like in another room, I tell Michelle, like, yeah, go talk to them. Like, go get their numbers. Like, get work. Like, do
Yeah.
your job. And so that was the end of that. Another cliffhanger that just resolved in fucking nothing as usual. Jax and Brittany are still fucking fighting. Jax is talking shit about like, oh, how much did she drink on the boat and all that, and everyone's saying like nothing, but he's
Leave her
just still like,
alone.
yeah. And so like Brittany's in the room like next to them this whole time, so she
Like, I'm
just
not gonna
hears
rat
Jax.
your wife out. Like, what do you? I'm not gonna rat your wife out to you. Like, how
Well,
much was she
she
drinking?
also wasn't drinking, so like she really didn't drink. So he's just being fucking Jax. And she hears him saying all this shit, so she like comes to the door and stuff. And she's like, I can fucking hear you. Like, you're just talking shit about your fucking wife to all these people. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you and all this? And so, like, she just slams the door on him, goes back and lays down. All the women come and, like, comfort her and stuff. And he still, like, thinks she was drinking. Like, he comes inside. He's just like, yeah, I drank, like, 2 bottles of tequila and I'm not acting crazy. And they're all just like, she didn't fucking drink. Like, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? And then after that, it was Jesse apologizing to Danny because he was the like main one that he was like trying to fight and stuff like that.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, like like I said, like he wasn't like being like it wasn't actually like trying to like throw punches and stuff like that. It was just drunk horseplay, pretty much. Although he did try to strangle him with a towel. But he also tried to strangle himself with a towel. So
If you're Danny, you're like, what the fuck crack is this guy taking? Actually, I got a wife and 3 kids. I don't got time. What are you doing?
So yeah, there's a whole conversation like around a fire pit where they're just apologizing for that. And Danny goes on to talk about how like none of them know like what he's going through and stuff like that, and how he's like sleep deprived because of the baby and all this, and feels unappreciated by his wife and all that. And then
Danny, your wife is depressed. I'm
yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry, dude. Like, I'm sorry, dude, but your wife is like going through like postpartum depression and like you kind of have to suck it up. Like, she gave birth to your baby.
yeah.
Like, I'm sorry that she's kind of moody right now and kind of not acting like your wife, but like until she gets that shit taken care of and like figure it out, deal with it. Like, suck it
And
up.
uh,
Did you carry it around for 9 months? No? Okay.
nope.
You can deal with 9 months of shit.
And so like while that whole like discussion's going on, like all the women are like cooking and stuff like that. And I think Janet comes out to like I guess just tell them like the food was ready and stuff like that. And I don't remember who it was, but someone just like as soon as she comes out is like immediately like nope, nope, hold on, we're talking. And so she gets fucking pissed.
Yeah. Same Janet.
Yeah.
I
And
would look at them and like be like, "Excuse me? Food's ready. That's what I was going to say to you." And then you can keep talking and the food will be cold when you come back in, but at least you know it's ready.
yep. Uh
Oh my god. And then she's
that's
pregnant? Does she
that's
yell
really
at them?
yeah, she yells at them.
Yeah.
And then
She's
eventually like
pregnant.
whoever it was just like, "Hey, I'm sorry. Like I shouldn't have like just immediately like said that." But she was still pissed,
Yeah.
which she
I'd
deserves
be
to be
pissed
pissed.
too.
Yeah. Like there's no fucking reason to do it, but
Yeah, I'd be pissed too if I'm Janet. If that's what people are so pissed off at Janet about, I swear to God.
but yeah, that was really all that happened. I was a little checked out for it while I was watching, so
That's fine. It's boring.
there's
I
just
just
another
blew my
boring
ring across
episode.
the fucking thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty over the valley. Like
Yeah.
I want it to be over. I don't really want to watch any more of it, but I'm going to for the sake of this show. So
Yeah. Same. Because
yeah,
that's all we got going for us.
yeah.
Because everything else is over.
Well, one more episode of Vanderpump, but yeah,
Yeah.
like,
That's what we got going for us.
and
So,
I think next week is the last episode of the Valley too. So
yeah.
I
So
think me
we're
and
going to have to
Stephanie
figure out
looked
what
it up
we're going
last
to
week.
do.
Yep.
All right. So let's get into the finale of Survivor. Because it was fun. I thought it was fun. Did you have fun this finale?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I didn't watch the post show just because I don't
That's
care.
fine.
Like once I find out who wins, I'm done with it.
That's fine.
But like this was a really fucking good season.
Yeah. I liked it. I think like the beginning of it was good. I think it kind of had like some lulls in the beginning.
Really? I thought
Yeah.
like the whole like first part of it was great. Like I would watch every fucking episode if it was just 30 minutes like that. Like it was great. I loved it. Like let's just speed through this shit.
I that's in well, okay, because you have a way different opinion than I do because you have seen this season and last season.
Yeah. I came in
Like
for
you've
the
seen
90-minute episodes. So
yeah, like you've been here for like nothing. So it makes sense.
yeah.
But I mean honestly, like there have been like way better like beginnings.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But I think it definitely picked up a lot during like the merge. I do like that people weren't like, "Oh, we're the three people until the very end or whatever." Like, "Oh, we're in like the super tight-knit alliance and we're not willing to like leave from it." Because that's been happening a
Oh,
lot.
you meant the beginning of the season. I thought you meant the beginning of the episode had lulls, and I'm like, it was like 30 minutes.
I meant the
So,
season.
okay, yeah, the beginning of the season definitely had its lulls then. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was just getting your overall feeling about. I think I switched it up on you and didn't really say anything.
yeah, it's fine. We
Okay, that's
figured it
okay.
out.
I think I switched it up on you and didn't say anything.
We got through it.
As I'm thinking about it, I was like, I think we were talking about the finale and I just switched it.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, no, but like overall, like the season, like I feel like was kind of like slow and then it picked up.
yeah.
I feel like I do like that like they weren't like so strict in their alliances and they were willing to like vote each other out.
Mhm.
Because I feel like a lot of the time people get like really like, especially recently, like they get stuck in like their tribes and
Yeah.
it gets to be boring.
I think like what was the purple one? Manu?
He's
Is that their
fucking shit
name? I
out of
don't know.
me.
The one with Kenzie and
Kenzie.
Tiff and Q, like they were like the most like tight knit tribe, and even then, like none of them liked each other.
They hated each other. They were so fun because of how much they hated each other. Like they were a really fun dynamic because of how much they hated each other.
Like fucking hate you, but we're gonna vote together all the time.
Yeah. I fucking can't stand this motherfucker, but they vote together all the time. And like they knew that they were voting together all the time and they just hated each other.
But other than that, like yeah, there was really no like tribe loyalty other than them.
Yeah. Yeah. And there really wasn't that much.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't even call it loyalty. It was just we have numbers, so let's just
Yeah.
keep this up.
Yeah. Which was fun because at a certain point you knew that they were all just gonna get rid of each other.
Yeah.
So we get to our first challenge and Kenzie basically finishes and then there's like writing on the puzzle and she doesn't know what it is. And so Liz comes over to help her because they're just trying to beat Maria,
Yep.
which I'd be mad if I'm Maria, right? I'm upset if
She
I'm
was.
Maria.
You
Yeah.
could see it on her face. She was
Because she
pissed.
could have won a fifth immunity, which would have broken the record for women. And she would have been in 4, which guaranteed her fire, which is what she needed to get to. So I would have been mad if I'm her. So I think that's where the real villain arc started.
I mean,
It started,
yeah.
but I think it really started to take a hold on like the bitter jury aspect in that moment.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say like there was a little bit of like humility, for lack of a better word, because like I guess she realized like they had to gang up on her to beat her.
Yeah.
So like she had to, kind of calm it down a little bit and try to get people on her side, even though it wasn't gonna happen.
It wasn't gonna happen.
But
Yeah, so Liz ends up reading the clue, figuring out what it is, running to get her plank that has all the holes in it, and counting them for her, and Kenzie wins. And Kenzie gets to have a reward. I forget what it was, and I didn't write it down.
it
And
was like
brings
a
Liz
Caesar salad. It is like Caesar salad, garlic bread, and like wine
pasta
or
or
something
something.
like that.
Yeah. And so basically, Kenzie was always going to bring Liz because Liz helped her win. And there might be something the girl could eat. But and then they end up bringing Ben.
Yeah, I think there was pasta because she was like, I'm allergic to like wheat or pasta or something like that.
Was
And so
that
that's
this
why she takes it
episode?
in.
Was that the last episode or this episode? Because there was one where they picked her for reward. I think it was this one. I think Kenzie was
was.
going to pick her, and
Yeah.
she said, "I'm allergic. I can't eat that anyway." So she took Ben.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think Kenzie had said uh Liz helped me out, so I want to help her, but also Ben's never been to the sanctuary and stuff like that. And Liz just immediately went like, take Ben. Like, I'm allergic to pasta. I can't eat it anyways. So
yeah. That was this. So that
Yep.
happened. Ben goes on reward, which was exciting for him because he's having a rough time out there.
Mhm.
Which in his like post interview or whatever, he said you didn't see it because spoiler alert, Kenzie ends up winning. So you didn't see it, but he had said that Charlie was like with him the whole time at night pretty much too.
Yeah.
But we only really saw Kenzie because Kenzie's
Yeah.
so anyway, so they Ben goes on reward. And oh, okay. Sorry, I was deciphering my notes. I was taking these live as it was happening, and Keenan was also talking to me.
Yeah, you're good.
So I was like deciphering them. There was like a code in there. So me and Keenan were saying that if Liz made it to the end, her helping Kenzie like that really helped her resume.
Oh yeah.
Because she's pretty useless. Like Liz
Yeah.
is pretty useless in challenges. And so she found a way to make herself useful. like Maria was going to beat them all, so they had to find a way to beat Maria, so she found herself useful in that. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that I honestly, I really, it was funny when she gets voted at, when she loses fire or whatever, and which we're just going to talk about now because it came up. She loses in the fire and the jury, and she's like, "Oh, I would have beaten all of you," and the jury like looks at each other, and it was like hilarious. I was like, I really think that she probably did have a case, and if she sat there at the end, I think like some of you guys might have actually voted for her, or at least
Yeah.
said that she did have a case.
Yeah. Throwing her some points at least.
Yeah. And she had said in one of her post interviews that she's actually not a millionaire. She was saying that to like make her threat level because she was like the smallest one and pretty useless and she knew it. So she was trying to make herself non-threatening in like being like, "Oh, you want to take me. Oh, I'm a millionaire. I don't need the money." Whatever. So she actually had said like that she takes care of her parents or something. And she's a single mom taking care of her kid. So she's like, "I actually don't have that much money." She's like, "I'm not a millionaire," and it was all gonna come out in tribal council. We didn't see it in the show because it didn't fucking matter.
Yeah. I guess I must have missed that like earlier in the season or whatever, because like it was like her and Ben talking, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm a millionaire. I don't need the money." Or her and Charlie were talking, and
I
she says
think in
that.
the
I'm like,
beginning she didn't say it as much as the end because then it started becoming like part of her strategy more.
"Gotcha." I was just like, "When the fuck did that like get brought up?"
Yeah. I think she said it like once or twice. So I love Charlie because Charlie's like, "Yeah, I'll go help you find an idol to Maria," like knowing like either you find it or we're all voting you out.
Yeah.
But at least I know if you have it. So this is the last vote out. Maria ends up leaving. They pretty much give her a little swan song. At this point, we were saying, "Okay, we'll see you on All Star."
I think she'd be good for
So then,
that.
yeah, take it back now. So we're on second. So we're on the second challenge, and I'm so happy that they changed the final challenge. They usually do that stupid fucking Samotion thing that we saw last time,
Oh
where you
yeah.
have to like take the ball and like put it through the loopty fucking loops. And they do it all the time, and it's so annoying because it's like, can we do something else? So they did.
Yeah.
um, it was like sort of, so they had to like put together a puzzle while a ball went through, and if it stopped, then they had like a long time buzzer. Charlie dropped all the time, but I think Ben was always going to win. If you look at all of them, Ben was probably the best one at puzzles.
Yeah.
So Ben was probably always going to win that, but he wins. It was exciting for him. I was excited for him. He had no chance of going home. Didn't matter. He was probably like, but he's like, "I won. I'm not in fire. I was gonna get taken, but at least I won."
That game actually looked like really fun. Like
It did look like fun.
it was like a mix of like skee ball and plinko while putting a puzzle together.
Yeah. It was a very like Price is Right type of thing going on. So Ben gets to decide who's going to go in fire, and he's trying to pick basically between Kenzie and Charlie, and the guy's crying about it, and the two of them are like, "Oh my god, it's totally fine," and he's like, "I can't decide between the two of you. It's so difficult." And he ends up picking Kenzie to go into fire because Charlie and him are Charlie and him.
Yeah.
In his post interview, he said that if it was a tiebreaker, he would have voted for Charlie, no doubt about it. Which is so sad to think about for Charlie.
Yeah.
Um, so Kenzie and Liz make fire. He brings Charlie. Kenzie starts like choking a little bit, and Q and Tiff look at each other like, "What the fuck? She makes us fire all the time. Like, how can she not fucking do this?" Like when we
Pressure's
didn't
on.
have that. Yeah. I thought it was cute how she had said at the end, like, it makes sense that like I had to play in fire because we didn't have fire for the longest amount of time. I was like, that's so cute.
Yeah.
I said Yanu happened so long ago. It's Yanu. That's what it was.
Yanu, that's what it was.
I said Yanu happened so long ago, we forgot that they didn't have Flint for like 10 days.
Yeah. God, I forgot they kept losing at the beginning.
Yeah,
Fuck.
they lost all the time. Like, they even lost and somebody went home, so then they didn't have to vote somebody out, but they still didn't have Flint.
Yeah.
Um, so we get to the final jury, and Q is annoying the whole entire fucking time, and then he asks the worst question in the history of the fucking universe. And I hate when they ask the question, what would you do for the money? Because it's like, what do you want me to fucking say? You want me to say I'm going to donate it to charity? What do you want me to say? What I want to do is I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to go buy myself a nice little necklace, go buy myself a car. I'm going to go invest it. I'm going to, like, what do you want me
Yeah.
to say? What do you want me to say?
What's it matter to this game? Like,
Exactly. Like, what does it matter? Like, do you want me to say, oh, I'm going to go donate it to charity?
yeah,
Like, what do you want me to say? It annoys
stupid.
me. But he based his answer on that. And he said that in the after show. He said, I based my answer solely on that. So basically, Kenzie answers that she wants a family and, her salon doesn't make money and blah, blah, blah. And my boyfriend goes, she's going to get married. She has a dual income.
Yep.
So I was like, okay. Okay. So he said that. So then I also hated that, like, I forget who asked, I think it was Soda asked the question, whatever it was, and Tiffany said, you're going to have 30 seconds at my timer. And
Yeah.
it's like, I felt like she totally let Kenzie talk way longer. And also,
Yeah.
why are you interrupting people?
Yeah. It's also like, how much of that is editing? Like,
Yeah.
did she really let her go longer, or was it just the way they edited it?
Yeah. But I felt that was annoying.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so we get down to the vote, Kenzie wins, and I do want to say that Kenzie had 2 advocates in Ponderosa, which is where they all go, when they get voted out and they all sit in jury and they're sequestered. They all sit in Ponderosa and hang out and talk to each other. Kenzie had Tiff being her advocate in Ponderosa.
For sure.
Yeah, and Maria was supposed to be Charlie's advocate, and that clearly didn't happen.
She fucking hated Charlie.
She came in and was not doing the same thing. That clearly happened. She was so fucking mad about it that she definitely didn't do the same thing that Tiff was doing for Kenzie. Which hurts, because if he had voted Ben off, Ben would have been sitting there going, like, Charlie's the greatest. Charlie's amazing. You know what I mean? But you don't beat Maria, probably.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that kind of hurt Charlie, I think, a lot. And he said in something in his interview, like, I heard some of the things that were going around Ponderosa. So it seems like she kind of was tainting him a little bit in Ponderosa. He also said in his interview that they're not friends. Like, he said that he was like, he tried to be friendly with her. He gave her a lot of grace. Like, she had apparently said, oh, I regret my decision, like, a couple weeks later. And then a couple weeks after that said, I don't regret anything. So you obviously don't regret your decision that you made. So it was like a wishy-washy thing. And he was like, you know what? I just don't need a friend like that in my life. And so he does not want to talk to her, does not want to have anything to do with her. I think also finding out that if she had voted for him, it was a tie and Ben votes for him, like, her vote was literally the one vote that cost him $1 million.
Yeah.
I think that hurt too much.
Good
And you
for him
can't
for
blame
just, like,
Charlie.
dropping her, though. Like,
Yeah, I think it's great. I think more people need to, like, take that stance where, like, it doesn't need to be a high road where, like, we all don't need to be friends after this.
yeah.
Like, you did cost me $1 million. Like, we actually, like, don't need to be friends. I think when you're in the game, you have to vote. Like, she ends up saying, like, oh, I voted for Kenzie because, like, she's going to start a family and need money for it. And Q was like, oh, I voted for Kenzie because she needed the money. And it's like, no, because if that was the case, Keenan made a really good point where Keenan said, if that was the case, you all would have voted for Ben. Because Ben
Yeah.
was the one sitting there that needed the money the most.
Mhm.
So you wanted a reason to vote for Kenzie because you felt Charlie probably played the better strategic game. So you needed a reason to vote for Kenzie, and that was the reason.
Yep.
And I think people aren't owning that,
Yeah.
Maria. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think, you're trying to act like, oh, well, I voted for her because of this. Da, da, da. No, you thought that she played an okay game and you just didn't want to vote for Charlie, so you needed a reason.
Yeah. Just trying to make themselves look better and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, just be honest. Like,
Yeah.
show's
Just be
over. It
honest.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, like, just be honest about it. And I think that's what pisses me off. And I think that's why Maria's getting so much hate, because everybody knows that that's not the case.
Yeah.
Because you would have voted for Ben. But yeah, I really think that's more so what it is. I will say the hate that Maria is getting online is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Like, people are apparently calling her work. People are apparently calling her business. People are apparently it's apparently like people like if you can't separate a television show from people's real life in that way, maybe you shouldn't watch television.
Yeah.
Like
It's a
you
fucking
actually can't
game.
be yeah, like you actually shouldn't be allowed to have a remote.
Yeah.
Like you're somebody that really that's insane. Like, can I
Yeah.
sit here and have feelings about Lala and say hateful things about Lala on this podcast? Absolutely. I'm gonna fucking go put some review on somebody's fucking business saying that they're a piece of shit. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between like separating what happens on a television show and happening in real life. And if you're those people doing that, like you need to go get a life.
Yeah. It's not like was it whenever no, it was the documentary we were watching like way back. The one guy who revealed the person was trans on the show.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not
yeah,
like that. Like that kind of deserves like, you're kind of a fucking
yeah.
piece of shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like just playing the
You
game
voted for
hard, like
somebody.
that's not a reason to try to ruin someone's life off the show.
Yeah, like she voted for somebody and you don't agree with it and like now you're trying to ruin her life. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. Like get help.
Like that
God
other guy
damn.
deserved to lose his job.
Yeah.
For real, like, I mean, so I will say that the hate that Maria's getting is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's not an evil human being. She did an evil thing in a game and you don't know what you would do in a game where you've been starving for 20 something days and you haven't had rice or anything and you're kind of dehydrated and you haven't really slept much more than like 2 hours and like 2 days in the entire experience. And like you're mad that you just lost $1 million and you feel like that's your whole life because that is your whole life because that's what you're doing for that long. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into like that emotion.
like like that's why I hate like the little like after show. I actually hate it because I feel like it's really cruel that 15 seconds after Charlie loses $1 million, we're going to ask him to process it and ask him to feel all these things and have people rub it in his face. And I think that it's not enough time removed. And it's kind of cruel for these people to relive this whole thing 5 seconds after they get off when they haven't even talked to anybody else. But here's some
Yeah.
like sad looking pizza and some champagne.
And you said they used to do it where like months later they'd have like
Yeah.
the reunion kind of thing, right?
It would be like 6 months later.
Yeah. They
And it
should
also
probably go back to that.
yeah, and it also sucks because 6 months later, if you showed up at the reunion, you got $10,000 just for coming.
Oh.
They're not
Yeah.
getting that anymore. So that kinda
So
sucks too, like
that's CBS just trying to be cheap then, huh?
yeah. Let's call CBS out for that shit. And that's real, like, Kelly Wentworth has gotten on TikTok. Kelly Wentworth has played, like, 4 times. She's gotten on TikTok and said, like, "We're not like, people aren't getting the prize for that $10,000 reunion anymore." Like, she said it. So it's not like people that have actually played the show, like, say that this happens and, like, they're not getting it.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, Venus I love Venus. I wrote down Venus because I feel like Venus is one of those people that was genuinely who she is on the show, and I feel like that got, like, overshadowed because she is an asshole, but, like, that's just who she is.
Yeah.
And so I just wanna give her a little bit because I'm an asshole, and so I really love her, like, I actually follow her on Twitter. Like, I actually really like Venus.
Yeah,
And
like
turns out her and Charlie are, like, good friends now. Like
okay.
yeah, I think it was, like, the environment for Venus. Like, I think if like, she's
Yeah.
hungry, she's tired, and she's mad about it.
I mean, we've talked about it like several times on here. Like, she's like, the popular like model girl. Like, she doesn't
Yep.
belong out in the fucking wilderness.
Yeah. She's hanging out with a bunch of weird people that she doesn't really like. What does she really have in common with a bunch of weird people?
Yeah, like she's
It's not like
she's
she's
not
going
gonna
home
go
and playing World
camping.
of Warcraft.
Yeah, she's not gonna go camping. She's got the whole fucking long ass RV with a hot tub and internet access
Yeah.
and all that. Like,
So
this
when
isn't her
yeah.
environment.
So when Ben's talking about his rock band, what is she going to talk to him about?
Like, cool.
Like like what is she going to talk to these people about, you know? And so I love her. I really do, and I just want to give her a little bit. I do think that she voted for Kenzie for the sheer fact that she was a woman. I feel like Venus is one of those people that would be like, I kind of want a woman to win. And Kenzie played a pretty good game, so I'm down.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you asked her, she'd probably be like, yeah.
Yeah, I never had a problem with Venus. I mean, like, yeah, she was an asshole, but like they never like spotlighted her like enough to like really get to know her. It was just
Yeah.
always like, yeah, I'm going home at any second. So like
I'm
I
just
gotta
playing from
I
the
gotta step
bottom.
things up. Yeah.
I'm playing from the bottom. Like she was playing from the bottom, and that was fun.
Like, you're gonna look like an asshole, like, whenever you're at the very fucking bottom.
Cause you're throwing shit at the fucking wall, hoping that something sticks, and it did. Luckily, most of the time, because people like honestly, Venus, you were pretty non-threatening. It had really nothing to do with you, and more so everything to do with other people.
Yeah.
People they should get out before you. She's like taking credit for these votes. It's like, girl, it's just that was a better plan than you.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Sandra won twice by it being an anybody but her situation, meaning that it was okay, anybody but me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did watch the after show. Nothing much really happened. I kind of touched on like the things that like were kind of important about it.
Mhm.
But the one thing I do want to say is that Charlie sat at the end and like I think he felt like it was about to be like an Aubrey moment where in Co Wrong, like Aubrey to the audience played the best strategic game, but the jury voted for Michelle because Michelle was like the social player and everybody liked her.
Mhm.
That's basically what happened. Charlie was Aubrey and Kenzie was Michelle. It's not like Kenzie didn't deserve a win. It's not like she didn't play a good game. It's not like anything
Yeah.
like that. But objectively, Charlie probably played the better strategic game.
Yeah. I mean, even Kenzie said, like, in her little, like, 30-second thing that, Tiff for Soda gave her, it was like, "Yeah, like, my game is my social game, like,
Yeah.
that's what I excelled at."
Yeah. And so this is what we mean by like it got like he got Aubrey'd. And I think he felt that. And I feel like he felt like the questions that they were asking and like the answers and stuff felt like that. So he said, like, no matter how anybody voted, he said after like Maria and like the bitter thing, he had said, like, like no matter how anybody voted, like Kenzie deserved to win. Like Kenzie deserved to win. Like the jury voted for the correct person, and I live by that.
Yeah.
And he's on his exit interview said that like 100 times, like Kenzie deserves her win and things like that. And I kind of feel bad for Kenzie because her win is kind of overshadowed by it, like how it was for Michelle.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad about that a little bit. But like she did play a good game. Like it's not like Kenzie didn't deserve her win.
Yeah. I
It's
say it came down to, like, the 2 best people, like,
yeah.
if it was between her and Charlie, like, yeah, like, I mean, yeah, Ben was there, but I don't think he really
I think Ben even
stood a
knew he
chance.
wasn't getting a
Yeah.
vote.
He just kinda got lucky at the end. Like,
Yeah. I think he realized at some point I'm not getting a vote.
yeah.
So yeah. I thought it was a good season. I thought Kenzie's a good winner. I think that she was, was I rooting for Charlie? Yeah. I was rooting for Charlie. But that's because I play for like strategic reasons, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it though.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's the end of Survivor this time. We got like a preview for the next one, but like I love when they're like, we're gonna give you a sneak peek, and it's like, what was that?
Was it just, like, the people that are gonna be there, or what was it?
Yeah. It was like the beginning like 3 days that like they cut some footage together and it was choppy and like some people talked and it was it's like come on.
Yeah, I don't watch, like, the previews because of that, like, every
Yeah.
time, like, you get to the end of, like, Vanderpump or whatever, and they're like, "Next time on Vanderpump," like, I'm like, "I don't care." Like, I don't I don't, like, lead me into what I'm gonna feel for this, like, I just wanna see it.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's the end of Survivor. For your second season, how'd you feel about it?
I enjoyed it. I think it was a lot better than last season.
Okay,
Last season drug on a lot longer than this one did.
I agree.
Like we said earlier, it was a little slow at the beginning, but once the merge happened, things really picked up. I feel like that didn't happen last season. It was
Yeah,
just a lot of just really slow last year.
it
But
was
this
very
year was a
slow,
lot
especially when
better.
they got to the merge.
Yeah, it's like they figured out the 90-minute formula this year.
Yeah,
But
let's hope because there's a good chance that they stay 90 minutes.
I don't want them to.
Amazing Race needs to go back down to an hour.
Mhm.
We do not need that.
Yeah. I mean, I know, it was extenuating circumstances, I guess, behind this season, like we talked about,
Yeah,
because
but
it
still,
was a COVID season that they just delayed, but it was not good.
no, no, and it was predictable.
Mm.
It was not a good season.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's it, right?
Yep.
Okay, so welcome to the end. If you got here, way better than Drunkcast.
A lot shorter.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, follow us at Hot Garbage Pod on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. The way I look at my fingers to make sure I say the correct thing.
As long as you get it right, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And you can also follow us on YouTube at Hot Garbage Pod. We put up all of our stuff over there as well. I am rarely in makeup, it feels like at this point.
It's fine.
I'm just
We're a
like
cozy
showing up
podcast.
with like my glasses and just like existing out here.
We're cozy here.
Yeah, I'm like laying in bed. But thank you guys so much for joining us and listening. And as always, stay trashy.